Major pardons. Yes, please. Good afternoon, Mr. President. It's always a pleasure to see you again. I have two pressing questions, one about Syria and the other about the ongoing war in Gaza. First, regarding Syria. The Pentagon recently revealed that the United States currently has approximately 2,000 troops stationed there. That's nearly double the initial figure of 900 we were told earlier. So, my question is, will you maintain this troop level when you officially take over? Well, the president began thoughtfully. I can't disclose that, as it ties into our broader military strategy. But here's what I can say. Turkey has had a significant interest in that region for more than 2,000 years. They've approached it under different names, shapes, and strategies. The troops we're discussing are largely linked to Turkey. President Erdogan is someone I both respect and get along with well. I believe the feeling is mutual. He's been accommodating on several occasions. For instance, I directly requested that he not take action against certain groups. You know who I'm referring to, the Kurds. Historically, they've been bitter adversaries, and the animosity runs deep. Yet, despite the tension, Erdogan held back when I asked. He hasn't done it yet, and didn't before either. Let's not forget what unfolded in Syria. Russia and Iran, two key players, were considerably weakened in the process. Erdogan, being the smart strategist he is, acted decisively. His people entered Syria through various fronts and under different guises, successfully taking over crucial areas. That's how it happened, and that's the reality on the ground. Switching gears, a follow-up question arose. Do you have concerns about HTS gaining control? By the way, the president interjected with a smile. Let me point out someone in the room. Steve Witkoff is here. Standing with my son Eric. He just returned from the Middle East after accomplishing some incredible work. Steve is not just any envoy. He's a phenomenal dealmaker. I've always believed we need negotiators who can bring results, not just people who know maps and boundaries but lack the ability to strike agreements. Steve, you've done an outstanding job. Months of relentless efforts haven't gone unnoticed. Would you mind stepping up and saying a few words? I wasn't even aware you'd be here today. Neither, it seems, did you? Still, I'm incredibly grateful for your work, especially around the hostages. It's a high-stakes mission, and you've shown remarkable courage. This isn't the kind of danger you're accustomed to dealing with in other negotiations, but you've adapted and excelled. Come on up, Steve. Steve, visibly humbled, took the mic. Thank you, Mr. President, for those kind words. Honestly, I think we're making significant progress. I'm heading back to Doha tomorrow to continue the work. I don't want to overstate things, but there's reason to be hopeful. By the time of the inaugural, I truly believe we'll have good news to share. The president's leadership, reputation, and commitment have been instrumental in these negotiations. It's his influence that's driving this effort forward. We're working hand in hand, and I genuinely believe we're on the verge of achieving something meaningful, saving lives. That's what it's all about. Of course, there have been delays, but I don't think it's constructive to dwell on that. What matters is the momentum we've built and the lives we aim to rescue. Let's stay optimistic and focused. The stakes couldn't be higher. As we move forward, one question looms large. Are you confident there will be a deal before January 20th? Or is it possible that no agreement will happen at all? We've been hearing this conversation for quite some time now, and people are anxious for answers. Well, Steve replied, with a mix of resolve and urgency in his voice, they had better be serious about getting this done. The president is at the end of his patience, and for good reason. I don't want to speak for him directly, but let me say this. There is no one I know who delegates more effectively than President Trump. He entrusts us with the authority to act on his behalf and expects us to deliver. When he tells us to speak emphatically, he means it because the stakes are monumental. Do I think they're waiting for President Trump to officially take office? Absolutely not. They've heard his message loud and clear. They know what will happen if the hostages are not returned by the inauguration date. He has made it crystal clear. All hell will break loose. And when he says that, it's not just words, it's a warning. The consequences will be dire, not just for Hamas, but for everyone involved. The hostages should have been released a long time ago. Let's not forget the unprovoked, horrific attack on October 7th. So many innocent lives were taken that day. Families were shattered. And now, people from Israel and the US are pleading for help. Mothers and fathers have come to me, crying, asking, "Can you help bring my child home? Can you recover the remains of my son or daughter?" I'll never forget the story of a beautiful young woman, just 19 or 20 years old. She was dragged by her ponytail and thrown into a car like she was nothing more than a sack of potatoes. I asked, what happened to hers? And the answer was gut-wrenching. "She's gone, sir." That memory stays with me. It drives me. This is why we need negotiators who can deliver. Steve is one of those rare individuals who has earned respect on the ground. He's not just a great negotiator, he's the right person for this job. People like him are as rare as a great surgeon, exceptional, invaluable, and irreplaceable. That's what we need in moments like these. But let me be clear, if there's no deal before I take office, the repercussions will be severe. We're talking about a complete upheaval in the Middle East. The clock is ticking, and the world is watching. The president closed his statement with a heartfelt acknowledgement. "Steve, you've done a remarkable job under incredibly difficult circumstances. Thank you for your dedication and relentless effort. Let's bring them home."